Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be venturing back up to the Barossa and tasting the Smidge Adamo from 2020. The first Smidge started in 2002 and we're making an Adelaide Hills Merlot and a Langhorne Creek Zinfandel, so just small parcels of each. And the first vintage of Barossa Shiraz was 2004, and I suppose it was fun making some alternative varieties like Zinfandel, and we made a little bit in the first year obviously, and that was sold out well, and then we continued in 03 and a little bit of Merlot as well, and that ticked along, and then the film Sideways came along, which I suppose changed the world's view of Merlot, unfortunately, and so that put an end to that project. But in 2004 we brought in an Adelaide Hills Viognier and a Barossa Shiraz, and it is named, each of the white label series have a name and a bit of a story behind them, and this is called the Adamo, which is from the Latin to fall in love with, as opposed to amare, which is Latin for love. So they're slightly different meanings, and obviously different words. So over the years, we then brought a few more wines into the portfolio, including obviously McLaren Vale Shiraz. So we actually make more McLaren Vale Shiraz these days than we obviously do Barossa Shiraz, and many of you may not know that we actually made Barossa Shiraz. So that was the first Shiraz in the portfolio. There was a stint there of Adelaide Hills Shiraz as well. That came and went after a few vintages. Lovely wine. I think it was a little bit confusing for the portfolio, so we stuck to the two regions. And this one is predominantly from the Western Ranges, in Greenock in particular. And there's a little bit over in the eastern side from Penrice, which is a little sub-region with on the eastern ranges with deep red soil, just north of Anguston, which is sort of the northern end of Eden Valley. Without further ado, let's give it a go. Barossa Shiraz obviously is probably one of the most, Barossa Valley is probably, over the years, is probably the region that is most known or most widely known around the world. And obviously the last few years has changed. McLaren Vale's coming up there, obviously Margaret River, Yarra Valley, Hunter Valley, etc. Tasmania's obviously growing in popularity, etc., with a number of their wines. So the Australian wine industry is definitely known widely now in the last sort of 10 years, but obviously when there was a surge, particularly when I was working at Two Hands Wines, surge in the North America in particular, that Barossa Valley Shiraz was on a trajectory like that, and it was literally #1 region in Australia. But that has obviously all changed in recent times, and globally the world is a pretty even playing field, and people are looking at new regions, new varieties, or emerging varieties, and really playing around with stuff and doing really good things. So without further ado, let's give it a taste. So as I said, mainly from the Western Ranges, in Greenock in particular, and 2020 was quite a warm year. Yields weren't huge, but I love that sort of dark red fruits and their spice, and what I call scorched earth. When you get that red soil and it gets hot, and particularly probably in the outback of Australia, but also you see it around the Barossa. Sometimes you get the earth as it warms up, and there's this distinct smell about it, and I call it the scorched earth, but it seems to translate in some of the wines, particularly Shiraz out there. It's not a negative thing, it's just this lovely warmth and earthiness that sometimes comes through the wine. But there's red fruits, there's spice. Barossa Valley obviously has more red fruit spectrum as opposed to McLaren Vale, which is more that darker fruit, chocolate mocha spectrum. McLaren Vale is adjacent to the ocean, so we get this lovely Mediterranean temperate climate, warm days and nice sea breezes in particular in general. But the Barossa Valley being a further inland, often that warmth hangs around longer in the day, and we typically get colder nights in the Barossa, so often you get Probably better acidity out of the Barossa in some vintages, depending on the overall season climatic conditions. But also the tannin profile in Barossa Valley is probably in a finer. The wines are a little bit more focused, whereas McLaren Vale, the wines typically have a greater generosity to them, in Shiraz in particular, that is. So red fruit spice into earth. There's some nice subtle oak in the background. This is 100% French oak, both in barriques and hogsheads. So barriques are 225 litres or 228, depending on the shape they are, and hogsheads are 300. So 100% French oak, and there would be a splash of new oak in here. I don't typically use new oak for new oak's sake. It's just more of a replenishment of the system. Good acidity, again that lovely, sort of more of a darker fruit spectrum, got a bit of plum note through it as well. There is really fine tannins, really tight and soft. It's about 14.5% alcohol, even though it was a warm year. With those cooler nights we've had through vintage, often got a lovely acidity and freshness and vibrancy through it. But quite tight and supple and soft, and some good length. The 2020 Barossa Valley Adamo. Thanks for listening.